Today we're going to start chapter 6, lesson 1 on borrowing to buy a home. So back in 2001, I actually bought my home, and there are several things that you need to do when you're thinking about buying a new home for yourself and your family. One of the first things is, where do I want to live? Do I want to live in Odessa? Do I want to live in Watkins? Do I want to live in Horseheads or Trumansburg or Ithaca or even out of state? Where do you want to live? And what part of the state do you want to live in? Where do you want to live? What kind of home do you want to live in? So those things are things that you're going to have to explore. One way I did it is I went and looked at many different properties. And a good thing to do is to get yourself a binder or some kind of folder to keep your different properties that you've looked at. We kept a binder, and it has just a whole mess of where we went to look, different properties that we looked at, and we kept their flyers. And then obviously we came to a conclusion of which one was best for our family. So you're going to need to do that. The first thing that you also have to, another good thing that you need to do is figure out how much money do I have to spend on this house. So we went to a bank and got pre-approved for a certain amount of money. So pre-approval is where you go to your bank or wherever institution that you're going to take a loan out and see how much money do I have to spend. And they're going to want to know what your job is, how long you've been at that job, how much you make, what kind of bills do you have already, such as car payments or any kind of credit card loans and those type of things, to see how much money that they feel comfortable lending you. So in my case, we did that first. So we got our pre-approval, and then we went to look at the homes. Next thing you're going to need to do is think about a down payment. Now, a down payment is a percentage that you're going to pay to the bank. Even though they're lending you money, they're going to ask for a percentage of that loan or that home, because they want you to be invested in that. And that percentage for the down payment can be 5%, can be 10%. It's up to the loan company, and it could actually be no percent at all. It's just up to them. But most people do have to make a down payment at the time of the purchase. Mortgage. A mortgage, we keep saying a loan, but a mortgage is just the fancy way of them saying that you're getting a loan for your home. So a loan for buying the house. The lender has a right to take the property, though, if you don't pay on that loan or that mortgage. So they will try, after a month or two, they'll try to get that money from you. But then if they can't get that money from you, your home goes into what's called foreclosure. Foreclosure is where they're going to take the home back, because they're lending you this money, and if you're not going to pay it back, they're going to take it back, and then they're going to sell it and see how much money they can get back on their investment. Now, if you borrowed $80,000, or you still have $80,000 of your loan, but they can only sell the home for $75,000 because of damages or whatever, or the market's not good at the time, you will still have to pay that $5,000 back to them. So be very careful and make sure that you can afford this loan. Closing costs. Closing costs are fees and expenses paid to complete the transaction. For ownership, the range is 3 to 6% usually. Those things go to your lawyer, because you're going to need a lawyer in this. You're going to need someone who sits at the table with you and helps you through the paperwork and helps you through all of the legal fees or the legal payments that you have to make, because you have to go to the treasurer's or the county clerk's office, and you have to pay for the title or the deed being transferred in this case. So you're going to need to have closing cost fees, and we'll get in some of the examples, we'll talk more about that. So mortgage loan. Mortgage loan equals the purchase price minus the down payment. So purchase price, that's how much you're paying for the home. Let's say, in an example, we're going to pay $100,000 and our down payment is $5,000. So you take $100,000 minus the $5,000, so our mortgage loan will be $95,000. So our loan, after we pay our down payment, in this case, is $95,000. There's $100,000 for the purchase price minus the $5,000 you're paying down, gives you a $95,000 loan or mortgage. Cash needed to buy the home. Again, you're gonna need your down payment. In this example, we said $5,000. Plus, let's say you need $1,000 in closing costs. So the cash that you need is the $5,000 plus your closing costs, $1,000, gives you a total of $6,000 for your cash you need when you come to the table to buy your home. So that's page 1 on your notes. So let's turn to page 2. And page 2 has your first example. So example number 1. Example number 1. And example number 1, it says Heidi is buying a home for $74,000. She will make 20% down payment and estimates closing costs as legal fees, $950, title insurance, so that takes the home into her name, property survey. Now a property survey, I got a survey done, and a lot of them will give you a nice big binder. This one we did was called Pillar to Post. That was the place where we had them to look at our inspection. So the inspection, so property survey is where they survey the home, and then this is where they're going to inspect the property. They're going to make sure your pipes are good. They're going to make sure your washer and dryer are good if that comes with the home. They're going to look at your electric and all those important things that are involved in your home. They're going to look at the structure of the home. They're going to look at the extra buildings you may have on the home. And then they're going to give you a printout of that information. And in our case, when we had this inspected, it costs $275 to have, so that's part of our closing cost fee. And then they gave us a nice thing that says things are in good condition or poor condition. What do we need to fix? That's very important to do before you sign your name on that paperwork, because once you sign the paper, it is now your responsibility to fix it, not the previous owner of the home. So that is your inspection. Loan processing fee is $84 in this case. Recording fees are $740. That's where they're going to go to the town clerk's office and they're going to record all the financial information or the legal information, and they're going to transfer it into your name. Now, when they do transfer that deed into your name, it will have a lien from the bank that you borrowed from. So until you pay off that loan or the mortgage, it is not all your property yet. You're still paying. What amount of mortgage loan will she need? So she needs whatever she pays for the down payment subtracted from how much the purchase price is. And we talked about that here. And we're going to do that first. And then we'll figure out what amount of cash she will need. She'll need the down payment plus all these closing costs in there. So let's figure this out. So number 1 says she's going to pay $74,000 for the loan. So we're going to write $74,000 times, and she's going to pay 20%. Again, to change the percent to a decimal, move it 2 places to the left. So 0.20, and 20% of 74,000 is 14,000 $800, and that is her down payment. Down payment. So that was the first question they asked. What is the down payment? Right there. Now we got to figure out how much is her amount for the mortgage. I figure out the amount of the mortgage. We take the $74,000. That's how much she's paying for the home, minus her down payment, which will equal how much we're going to borrow or the mortgage loan. And that is $59,200. $59,200. That's the mortgage loan. So the home is worth $74,000. She's gonna take out $59,200. That's how much she owes the bank. Next, we're going to find out how much cash she needs. Well, she does need that $14,800, but she also needs all those closing costs that we talked about. So let's add them together. First of all, you got the $950 for the legal fees. Change markers here. $950. Plus she needs to pay the title insurance, $140. Yes, you need to get insurance on your home, and they're going to require it if you have a bank and you're taking out a mortgage. Property survey, that's where they survey the property. Make sure you know where the lines are, where your property ends. Inspection. Oh, and by the way, I did forget to include that. I did add it in there, but on your notes, you need to include the $250. I don't know how it got left off, but I did add it in the total price. So add that in, please. $175,000, or not thousand, $175 for her inspection. Processing fees are $84. Recording fees is $740. I believe I have all of them. Now, just a little hint, when you have all these numbers, I would underline them or do something so it tells you, oh, so you don't forget something, like I forgot to put it on your paper, the $250. So the total closing cost is $2,339. These are the closing forgot my L, closing fees or costs. Now, we need to figure out how much cash we need. Again, we said we need the down payment of $14,800. Plus, we need our closing fees of $2,339. So how much cash do we need at the table when we're signing to buy or purchase our new home? $17,139. $17,139. That's the cash needed to buy the home. So that was example number 1. Example number 2. Let's put a number 2 here. Example number 2 says Amy wants to buy a home that costs $83,000. She has $13,000 for her down payment, and her bank will lend her $70,000 on a 25-year, 8% mortgage. Find Amy's monthly payment and the total amount of interest she would have to pay over the term of the mortgage. So, what you need to do is look in your packet to page 5. On page 5, there's what's called an amortization table, and it looks like this on the bottom here. So you're looking for that on page 5. And what you need to do is figure out, and it tells you how much her monthly payments are going to be. And she's got a loan that she's taking out for $70,000. So her loan is $70,000. She's going to do a 25-year loan. That's her term. And then she's going to do, and we didn't talk much about terms. Let's talk about terms. So terms are usually, terms can be like the number of years. Usually it's like 15, 20, 30 years, 25 years in this case. The higher your time that you're going to pay off this loan, so the more years you have, the lower your payments are going to be monthly. But of course, it's a longer time that you're paying on the loan. It's also more interest. So the longer time that you pay on the loan, you're going to pay more interest. In my case, I took out a 30-year mortgage. So I started my mortgage payments in 2001. I won't be done until 2031. But it kept my payments lower as I'm going along here. So again, $70,000 is the amount that she's borrowing for 25 years at 8%. So now you're going to go on your table, your amortization table. Again, it's on page 5. Go over to 8%. You'll see it up here on the top bar, 8%. Going to find 25 years, which is in the middle. Then go down to 70,000, and you will see $540.27. That $40, excuse me, and 27 cents is her monthly payment. That's how much she's going to pay a month for her home. Now that doesn't also include her insurance payments that she's going to have. She's also going to have to pay taxes and those things. But we'll talk about those some other time. So $540.27 is her monthly payment. The question says, find Amy's monthly payments. We did that. And then the total amount of interest she would pay over the term of the mortgage. So she's going to pay this every month for 25 years. So we need to figure out how much that is for 25 years. Now, as you know, there's 12 months in a year that you're going to have to pay the $540. So you take the $540.27 times 12 months a year times the number of years, which is 25 years. When you multiply all that out, you're going to get the total payment. Remember, the loan is $70,000. She's going to end up paying $162,081. That's the total payment. From that, we're going to subtract out what, because that's how much she pays in total. They asked her how much interest. So we got to subtract out the $70,000. That's how much she actually borrowed. The rest of it's interest. She has to pay that back, but that's how much she borrowed. So how much interest is that? $92,081. So why do the banks want to loan you money? Because that's how much they're making in interest. Now, it is tying up their money for 25 years, but they're going to make back their money, plus they're going to get a $92,000.81 in interest. Okay, moving on to page number 3 and example number 3. Let's erase this. All right. So before we do example 3, it says refinancing a mortgage. So sometimes you take out a mortgage at a very high interest rate, like 8.5% maybe, and you want to make that lower. So when you refinance it, if there's a lower interest rate, you can get less of that interest that we just talked about. So you want to refinance so that your payments are lower and your interest is lower. Be aware that sometimes when you do refinance, you do have to pay more closing costs with the new mortgage, with the new loan. And sometimes the old mortgages, if you pay them off early, they're going to fine you for that. It's a prepayment penalty, so that you're going to have to pay that off too. And all of that is in example 3. So let's look at example 3. Example 3 says that they have a fixed rate mortgage at 9.65%. That's very, very high, with an unpaid balance of $40,000. The monthly payments on the old mortgage was $511.09, so they're paying that every month. They got a new mortgage at 7.98% for the amount that they haven't paid yet of the unpaid balance from another lender. Their new monthly payments are $340.73. To get the new mortgage, they had to pay closing costs of $935. That's in cash that they had to have. To pay off the old mortgage before it was due, they had to pay a prepayment penalty of $500. So they have to pay that penalty because they're paying that off early and moving and making a new loan, they're refinancing their loan. How much did they save during the first year of getting the new mortgage? So after the first year, because they did have those penalty fees and they did have the closing costs, after that year, they're gonna save more money, but let's see if they save any money in the first year. So you have an old mortgage versus a new mortgage. And we're just talking about right now the first year. So let's see how much it's going to cost them in 12 payments for each of these. The old mortgage was $511.09. Or times by 12, because there's 12 months in a year, gives them payments or over the year $6,133.08. That's how much their payments over the year for their mortgage. The new mortgage, however, they're only going to pay $340.73 a month. Times 12 months, so we're figuring out. That is $4,088.76. And again, these are both per year. That's how much they're going to pay. So as you can see, that's about a $2,000 difference. It's a little over $2,000. So not this first year, but the second year, they're going to save over $2,000. So it's probably worth them refinancing. But they're asking about mainly the first year. So let's figure out the difference, first of all, between these two mortgages for the year. Minus 4,000, erase that. $4,088.76. When we subtract that out, you get $2,044.32. That's the difference between the old mortgage versus the new mortgage. So they're saving that much money. So the second year, they're going to save over $2,000. That's really good. But this first year, they also had a couple of fees. They had the $500 for the paying off this old mortgage early. They also had the closing cost of $935 to get the new mortgage, but they're still saving some money. In the first year, they're still saving, if you subtract those, $641.80. $9.32 savings. So that's why they refinanced, because they knew that the payments are lower and they're going to save money in the end. After the first year, they're going to save $609, but after that, they're saving $2,044 a year because of the lower interest. So now it's your turn to practice. So you're going to work on page 4, 5, and 6, 4, 5, and 6. And it says assignment page 227 through 228, numbers 11 through 26. And in the next video, I'll be going over those problems. So you're gonna submit this on a Tuesday. Make sure that you submit it on time. I can't remember the date at this soon, a couple weeks. I think it's in 3 weeks. You'll submit it on Tuesday by 5 o'clock. And then on Wednesday, I'll put out the next video going over the examples. I would highly suggest that you get your problems out and make sure that you did them correctly, okay? And if you have any questions, always, always, always email or call Miss Field or myself. And until next video, be safe and stay home. Have a good day. Bye.